a month after 9/11, I think.
So crazy. In the first time you had moved out of your house.
Yeah, I'd been living in I moved to New York City July 8th, 2001.
And you just had fun and partied until September when you had to
smoking
start
butts,
school.
partying, walking by James Dean's old house like, this is the dream. People were... I hung out with Dave Attell one time before 9/11. Seriously, crazy cool shit. And then boom, the world is now different forever. I mean, it just gets worse and worse. People hated each other when George W. Bush was president. It was the same sort of red-blue thing, but
my girlfriend was on a Catholic trip in Colorado when it happened, and they were in the woods and didn't know it even happened.
That's a blessing. That's a total blessing.
Until they had to fly home. But everyone else has everyone knows where they were.
Yeah.
And she's just did not know.
Yeah, man. I was just thinking, I mean, it's coming up on the anniversary of that, and I was thinking about it. That definitely, it's hard for me to say, hey, that affected me. I was there because you were there.
Everyone was there.
4 million or 9 million New Yorkers were there, and then the rest of the country who wasn't physically there was still there in a sense. So it's one of those things where you go, hey, that was hard for me, but it was so hard for so many
and
that you
said,
can't
the
really.
world was different before.
Yeah.
That's a fuck with people, I think. I saw it on a projection screen in homeroom. Like a 100-inch screen.
Yeah, it's weird how that was the thing. I remember
Crazy.
It kind of shows how different the world is from it even now, because now the world was so peaceful then. America was so peaceful then that it was, even though that was a tragedy, teachers were saying, hey, get in here and witness history. This is horrible, but it is history, and that's what we teach. So let's witness it in real time. Come on in. You would never now.
I remember my teachers being horrified.
but after everything that's happened since then, you would never now be like,
that's true.
hey, everyone come in and
point.
let's watch the latest mass shooting. This is history in the making.
Yeah, you're right. It was a really big change.
There was a big change in the way everything, the see something, say something wasn't a sentence that existed before.
Nah, I think that was Dr. Seuss or something.
Yeah, and the whole TSA didn't exist. The Department of Homeland Security didn't exist. I mean, a different world. Homeland Security was, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very vague term.
Yeah.
We have armies.
Yeah.
We have the National Guard. What's the Department of Homeland Security? Well, what it is a blanket term that covers anything and everything that is shady.
Smart.
But yeah, I think about that. So that's kind of my thing. I remember talking about this a lot on Tinder because your age comes up a lot on Tinder.
Okay.
And I always think I have this very weird. Everyone I graduated with in 2001, in June 2001, we all have a very unique experience of adulthood.
Yeah.
It's and doubly bad because we were in school that whole time. Things were getting put back together, and then a gigantic recession the year we graduate from that school.
Yeah.
The recession begins. So all these, and I was always going to be struggling.
Yeah.
I was always going to be an actor.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was always going to have this weird sort of pirate's life, vagabond life.
But you almost had it even more because...
If anything, actually, I think in some ways, it was a gift in some ways where it was like, fuck it. I didn't have a lot of push from my family and other people going why don't you go do this? Because there wasn't anything to go do.
That's interesting.
And I knew people who were on the perfect track, college people who were
upended, really.
College people, business degrees, heading into that corporate world that had always just been there.
Yeah.
And now they were going to become electrician. One of my best friends was working in healthcare and just was like, all the funding's getting taken away from where he was and all the jobs are disappearing. And he was like, I'm going to college to become an electrician.
Smart.
That'll always be there. Yeah. And now he is like golden.
Yeah.
And I knew another girl who was in college and she was just going to do something. And then she was like, fuck it. If I can't do anything, I'm just going to go make art and become a farmer. And she's doing great.
Those people are so far and few between. Most people graduated with $100,000 of debt.
Yeah.
What?
I do think a lot of people, that what you see now, so now when you look at TV and you see all those commercials that are like, I mean, there's ads on TV that are just like, hey, do you need advertising for your small business?
Oh, yeah,
do you need a
yeah.
website for your small business? Do you need an app that helps you keep books on your freelance small business? This didn't exist pre 9/11. Like this, have your own business, make your own money, have a side hustle. We are giving them all cute names, but these are necessities of capitalism, really.
And something that was always there before everyone became the same. We're slotted into all the same jobs.
Oh, back in the day,
So
you'd be like, my
yeah.
neighbor's crazy. He sells the stuff online.
Yeah, exactly.
My neighbor's nuts. He just sits in his backyard, makes, dream catchers and sells them online.
Yeah.
Now that's like everybody does shit like that.
Yeah.
There's
You're
14 guys. It's kind of funny, we have this show and
Yeah, there's a million of these shows.
there's a million of these shows. I'm a comedian. It's like one of my cousins, I noticed, I just found out, like, I know I complain about this all the time, but one of my cousins is she's got a boyfriend, and like I just happen to like look at her Instagram, and then I look at her boyfriend's Instagram, and I notice that she's on his YouTube show, and then it's just these two dudes talking about horror movies, and I'm like, it's just so weird that everyone has that instinct now.
And do you feel silly about feeling weird that you had to get a Patreon account?
Yeah. No, I feel like a dick. Sometimes I feel like a dick. The way I feel a lot, and this is just my hang up, is that a lot of times I feel like I've been screwed. Like I go, man, if I was born in almost any other time before mine, I would have been like more successful because I would have been
They wanted.
I would have been one guy doing it too. Like even in high school, when I was in high school and I was telling my guidance counselors and fellow students, everybody, I'm going to New York to be an actor. It was like I'm going to join the circus. It had that vibe.
Yeah.
People looked at me like I was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And now every kid in high school has some sort of show business dream
like that, right?
or something big, I mean, my senior class,
And they're encouraged too.
people were taught, and they're like encouraged.
Yeah.
In my grade, people were very realistic about what they were going to do after high
Same
school.
with mine too.
People were joining the military. People were thinking about working for their parents or working in similar corporate environments to their parents. Teachers. It wasn't like today where everyone thinks they're going to be a CEO or a mogul of some sort, a pro Fortnite player. Everyone's going to be at the top of their field.
Yeah.
I know a guy who works in business, and he talks about he's a little younger than me, but older than the millennial workforce, and he talks a lot about how he's like, these guys just sit around and talk themselves up.
But don't you remember that?
He's like, they sound like their moms, though. He's like, they sit around and they go, I'm smart and I'm talented and I'm going to do something and I've got great ideas. And he says they sit around and they say stuff like that, but then they just go to lunch.
I remember being like that when I was like 19 and 20.
Then, 19, honestly, 20, not collecting older. 50 G's to work for some guy.
Yeah.
I definitely remember thinking, it's just all going to work out for me.
Why is everyone so stupid?
Yeah. I'm like a fucking...
So maybe that just got kicked down a little further. Maybe it was like 19, 20, and we were probably even still like probably too old to be feeling like that. But now it got kicked to 24, 25. Do you know what I mean? Like, people
I'm
are living
sure.
longer.
And and I'm sure too, to my dad or someone's generation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To say you were an actor then was even fucking completely nuts. Yeah. Basically, coming out of the closet.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a communist.
Yeah, you're just like so suspicious to want to go into that. So, but I don't know. I always felt kind of like, man, I've had such like a. Although I can't complain. I love my life. I really do. But I often think, I go, man, it's just like constant
just
sort of
slotted.
I make it out of my parents' house, 2 planes fly into I moved to New York City, 2 planes fly right into it and change the whole country.
Yeah.
I graduate from that and there's no jobs, no money, no one wants to pay anybody for anything. I quit drinking and devote myself to stand-up comedy. I finally become a headliner. No one wants a straight white male
It does feel like
headliner.
that.
You know, it's just
It's like, what else, God?
it kind of just seems that
You
way.
Job.
Like no matter every time I sort of get to like the horizon, there's this hill that is on the horizon, or someone going like, "Hey, you're lucky to be here," and you know, go
Yeah.
fuck yourself or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too.
And I also know that I'm still lucky. That
Could be a lot worse.
That
too.
could be so.
Yeah.
It could be so much worse.
Yeah.